Hey folks, it's Editing Series. A little PSA I forgot to put into the episode. We have a collection of art drawn by us for the campaign of Heart and Steel. If you're interested in checking it out, just click on the link in the description. Alright, on with the show. Hey folks, welcome to Friendly Orbit, the podcast that draws us together no matter how far we fly. I'm Ceres, joined by the players that steal my heart.
Aww.
And
cute.
They are
Thea. Playing May, Human Artificer.
And also...
Okay, yeah. And I'm Copernicus. I play Ninquis, who is a Warforged Paladin.
Very good. And lastly, but not leastly by far, we are joined by...
I am Nereid, and I play Kirst. She is a bug lady. She is a fighter. She's really cool, and I love her. Also, now I'm wondering who you do think is the least of all players.
Soala. There you go. Soala's the least.
Even more reasons to bank on her.
Yes, my DMPC Soala. All right. Well, last time we spent a lot of time setting up the setting and the characters. So I encourage you to watch that if you want to get familiar with the baseline that we're going to be departing from today. Today we won't be talking about any backstory. We'll be talking about the main story. We'll be talking about the start of the campaign, the first 8 sessions, entitled Chapter 1, Genesis.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
All right. So with our protagonists, Kirst, May, and Ninquis introduced, we meet them one by one as they find their way to a shop in Vorthunum. A shop called Tarbo Truth Vows Emporitorium, where he sells magical goods. May is here to make a delivery on behalf of Alder, the dwarf artificer father figure she is staying with. Ninquis is here to inquire about repairs to his chassis, and Kirst is here to stock up after taking on a caravanning job. While shopping, May notices that of all the annoying people to randomly run into, her sister Soala is in the shop too, alongside a novice crew of adventurers who've gotten a sick job to go scavenging underneath the city. Before we get to the details, though, the shop is robbed! And due to the heroics of her protagonists and the distinct lack of heroism on the part of the other crew, Tarbo decides to give the scavenging job to May, Kirst, Ninquis, and Soala, who decides to switch teams.
Yay.
Yay!
They are to head into the sealed portion of the ruins on behalf of a mysterious benefactor. Any items they can carry, they get to keep, but 90% of the rest goes to the sponsor, while the last 10% go to Tarbo. After some time spent in a tavern, bonding and preparing, they head into a section of the ruins they were instructed to find and unlock it with a key that they were given. The crew heads into the dark, looking forward to oodles of unspoiled ancient tech while contending with the dangers of hundreds of years of corruption. What'd you guys find down here?
Wow, we found a lot of stuff. But
let's just talk about the first part, the latter part, and I think you know what the latter part is. We'll get to that in a little bit, but you guys you found a big spider.
We did.
Yes.
A seal.
A big corrupted spider.
Yeah.
Which nearly killed all of us.
Half organic, half metallic.
And it can phase in and out of reality.
Yeah, because every time Ceres designs a dungeon, the first thing you fight at the first encounter is always a phase spider. That's my experience.
Phase spiders are awesome, man. The phase spider, it even captured one of you and knocked Kirst out for a moment, strapped her to its back, and phased into another reality, sort of a blood dimension, full of the screams of the dead and dying.
Scary stuff, honestly.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That was pretty freaky. What else did you guys find down here?
giant mosquito demons.
Oh yeah, you found those too. You found
yes.
some other corrupted bat-like, mosquito-like creatures that wanted to suck the blood out of you and would like. They had this cool move they would do where they would jump onto you, and then if you tried to hit them, you would hit the person too.
Yeah,
Yes.
they
I remember,
transferred
yeah.
like half the damage.
Yeah. You guys found a sealed neighborhood. That and in ancient times, the collected working population of Foundry 38 would have lived in. It was stripped and scavenged a great deal by the people who had been trapped inside of it for a long time before they eventually found a way out. It was covered in revolutionary messages and stuff like that.
Yeah, they had gone through like a whole phase
Mm.
of like in between the apocalypse and climbing out, where they had to figure out how to live down here and how to make their way out of here. And so they had clearly gone through different phases of like
Evolution of society.
solidarity. Yeah, exactly. Like there was definitely a wave of worker solidarity, and then the totalitarianism kicked in. Very French Revolution. First wave of like fuck the surface. We're all together in this. We're all in this together. And then phase 2 is like people are not allowed to go out unless they have a permit.
And I also remember an interesting moment about this is you guys saw this like working neighborhood from way back when.
Yeah.
And although it was very technologically advanced, people still lived kind of like shit down here. I know
This ties together with the episode we recorded yesterday.
Yeah, I guess. And it was interesting because it was like, for many people in Vorthunum, the view of the past, for many people in Aramis also, the view of the past is one of like glorious conquest or, awesome magic times back when we were strong enough to fight the gods. And it was like, not everybody seems to have lived like that. Some people have pretty dismal, pretty common everyday lives.
Yeah, remember, I made a point as May to point that out. I was like, wow, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to talk about in this area that you found?
No, but I can't believe earlier you didn't mention the hilarious gag of May, and Kirst bumping into each other on the street and then both walking in the same direction from there.
Oh, yeah,
both
This
thinking
was
that the other one
so
was a
good.
spy.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, that was right at the start. So right when you guys were headed towards Tarbo's shop, you ran into one another.
Yeah. And you forgot about it.
Yeah. There were also some moments, I wrote down some moments I wanted to highlight. There was some insect bean politics going on
Yes.
with Kirst. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I loved I think they were like cockroaches or something. I don't
Yeah,
know
they were, yeah.
made
They
explicit.
were crabs. They were like
And
crabs.
Gareth talked to them and was like, "Hey, do you know any treasure around here? I can pay you in beans." And they did.
They ran a tough bargain.
They ran a tough bargain. Instead of just the 3 beans that Gareth was initially planning to spend, they got her to like spend like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And that crab walked away knowing that like he had ripped you off.
Yeah, exactly. You guys also learned a little bit about power cores and the history of this place.
Yeah, the most interesting thing I think was to find out that like essentially these people were the ones who developed the forced iron hearts and were the first to figure out attunement to power cores and how that kind of recharges them.
Yeah.
And it was very important because they were running out of energy, and then this discovery kind of saved their lives probably.
Yeah, it was an interesting moment where they describe how it becomes clear the more you hear of their perspective that the way power cores used to work in ancient days is they simply never ran out of power.
Yeah.
They were just eternally always at maximum charge. And so this idea that they could run out of power, probably, and they talk about the day that they first started running out of power, and then their city fell out of the sky, as a consequence of it.
Yeah.
It's like they transitioned.
Earlier maybe there was like some kind of like miasma everywhere in the air that spread, and like the energy was in the air.
Yeah.
I have a whole section at the end of this podcast for crackpot theory, so make sure to bring that one back.
Yeah.
It sounds like it sounds like the transition from nuclear energy to renewable energies,
Yeah, it didn't go well in this case. I hope it would go better in real life. Um, you guys also found a key forger. The key that you guys had that led into this dungeon was sort of like a plastic palm reader. It looked like it kind of would be integrated into the hand. Well, it wasn't made of plastic, it was made of metal. But you guys found a key forger that you could use to rewrite the pattern because at either end of the sealed neighborhood of Foundry 38, there is these giant set of vault doors. On one side was cracked open, that's where you guys found the spider den. But the other side was sealed, and that's where it went deeper into the ruin.
Yes.
And you guys found a key forger, but until you defeated the spider, you didn't have any. It was hoarding a bunch of power cores in its nest.
Exactly.
Until you defeated the spider, you didn't have anything to power the key forger with to make your to change your
Classic
little key.
dungeon design.
Yeah.
To go down path A to get the key to unlock path B. Yes, very good.
There was also a moment during the shootout at Tarbo's shop where Sawala got a look at Ninequist's cracked open
I was
chassis.
going to mention it. Yeah.
And he saw a little bit, and she saw brain in there. And when later questioned on it, Ninequist kind of lied about it.
Did he though? Or
he did. He really did, because
Well,
he claimed he didn't have a brain and that he had a sentient power core powering him instead. And there was a little standoff over this. In the dungeon when you guys rested and laid down to bond your first power cores. There was a bit of a standoff between Soala and Ninequist. How did that go?
Well, in real life, Copernicus, I do believe there's not much of a difference between a human brain and a computer. You know, they're both computing machines.
Can you believe I come back to this bullshit every evening?
Here's the thing, right? They're similar, they're related concepts, right?
Yeah.
But they're not the same, right? Like, there's not a huge difference conceptually between a boot and a shoe, but they are different. And if I say, "Are you wearing boots?" and you say yes, but you're actually wearing shoes, then you're not telling the truth.
Which is kind of poetic, you know. So, in the game.
But, I mean, we talked about it, right?
Yeah, we did.
Like for
he wrote the
it's a matter of privacy. It's a matter of identity, right? Not something he likes to talk about. So how did you guys? What happened? What happened with the standoff?
Yeah. So in the end,
minds prevailed. Maybe.
Yeah, because Nyquist did roll a deception check. So in game, he was lying, and it's also understandable because it's something that is secretive. I mean, he doesn't want to believe it himself. Still, it's really it's a truth that is hard to swallow for himself, which is why he decided to hide it. Yeah, exactly. Even harder for him to let Swallow know. And he perceived it as a weak point of himself. So at that point, he decided to just casually.
What was a really fun moment for me was playing Sawala and like purposefully generating a situation where I would be isolated with Nyquist so that I could confront him, right? And then asking him if I could see his weapon because I found something cool that I thought might be able to upgrade his weapon. And then as soon as I'm holding his weapon, right, to just turn it back.
That was such a good play. Oh my god.
It was so dramatic.
Cock the hammer and be like, all right, now tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
But yes, cooler minds prevailed. I mean, Sawala fully did shoot Nyquist.
He did.
But not lethally.
On my shoulder.
Just in the shoulder.
I still remember how painful it felt.
I did punch Copernicus in the shoulder for diegetic purposes.
Wow, I did not know.
Straight up. Every time you hit Nyquist, actually hit Copernicus.
Wow.
So, yeah, exactly.
I need to stop.
Keep it in mind the next comment, you know?
I need to no more combat from here on out. But yeah, so speaking of this first part, these first few sessions, right? Getting your first look at corrupted monsters, getting your first look at adventuring down in the darkness where the corruption swirls thick, and getting to see your first relics from the past. How did you guys feel about the first stretch of Dungeoneering? How did the warnings live up to the real deal of the actual adventure?
It was so good.
I mean, the real deal was even more was exceeded the warnings probably.
Oh,
We had some. We had some. Let's just say that we had some early fights where
That were more lethal than we expected.
yeah.
more lethal than you
We
expected.
all went down.
More lethal than they were designed to be.
Exactly.
For sure.
We
Yeah.
did.
So this is a slight.
There was a learning curve.
There was a slight tangent, but when you guys first fought in the shootout fight, I had sort of a baseline, and I was like, "Oh, this fight was way too hard." But when you guys did the first bear fight, which was only very marginally less challenging according to the numbers, right? According to the challenge rating and stuff, that fight was super easy. And so I was like, what's the deal, right? And I tried to find something in between, but that fight was the spider fight, which, as you guys remember, was even more lethal. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. This has a number lower than the shootout fight, but it was more deadly than the shootout fight.
It's almost like challenge rating rules are bad.
Yeah, so from that point, I had to sort of severely down correct and just be like, I think the bear fight was a fluke. Like the fight at the top of the memory one shot fight at the top of the caldera was just a fluke, and this and these following fights were just too hard. Yeah, were just too hard. It was very lethal when you first got down there.
Yeah.
What was your favorite character moment of another party member down there?
Oh, I really admire the way Kirst fights in the dungeon.
Yeah.
Because I remember, as we just talked about it, they were all super lethal, and we weren't expecting them at all. Like, I really thought, okay, guys, let's get on with this. We're gonna, kill them all and move on.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But then in the end, I think all of us went down, and then we started taking shots. We started taking potions.
Everyone went down at least once, but never at the same time.
No, well, we were all low on hit points, but I remember whenever Kirst got some hit points back, she immediately just jumped back into the battle. And one super epic moment was when she jumped onto the spider and then faced out into the void. And we were like, oh my god, where did she go? And then in the end, they reappeared again. But that
was really crazy because the fight turned really quickly. And so, kind of by coincidence, I had knocked Kirst out before I'd ever revealed the fact that the spider could phase. And so I was like, this is going to seem like total bullshit to you guys, but the spider grabs Kirst and disappears into a different reality.
It's funny because for me, it was not like, oh, this is some bullshit comes out of nowhere. For me, it was like, oh, this again? Because I've already gone through.
You've fought one phase spider with me.
I know, but it's odd. Like, okay, it's not odd, but it's notable.
Well, it's funny because for you, that probably was like one of your first combats, that phase spider fight, like in the old campaign. This is like now a long time ago,
and especially it was one of the first like combat that had like more dimensions to it than just like hit a route attack or like a roll attack damage.
I completely forgot about that encounter until you mentioned its similarity to this one. And I was like, huh, yeah, I guess actually. And I just realized, I think I really like face spiders because of like when I cracked open my new monster manual, the first thing I looked at was like face spider. And I was like, kind of sucks. And, all right, I'll find a different monster, but I'm glad I checked out the new face spider. And I'll build my own face spider
with blackjack and hookers.
With blackjack and hookers. All right. What was your favorite character? What was your favorite discovery in this portion of the? You had a character moment you wanted to mention?
Well, no, I just was wondering if we're just moving on to something else.
Well, I don't feel the need for all of you to answer if you don't want to, but if you have an answer that you actually want to state, of course.
Nothing that came to mind immediately. So.
Wow, so nothing that we haven't talked about yet.
My own.
Wow.
Wait.
Actually, my favorite battle party member was Soala.
I'm sorry, Nereid, what were you saying?
Nothing that hadn't come up yet. Like, definitely my favorite moment was just the standoff between like Soala and Nyquist and just what happened there. Was pretty
great. My favorite moment, honestly, or one of my favorite moments, but I think it was maybe my favorite moment, was the insect bean politics. That was so funny. I loved that so much. I love getting to play this stupid cockroach that's like high-handedly bargaining with you over beans.
I still think about those bugs.
what are they up to?
Yeah.
It's like in this campaign, I explicitly had the message I wanted to present you with a serious plot that had genuine moments of darkness that resonate with reality and our lived experiences to some degree, or at least potential futures that could happen, right? But at the same time, I wanted to give you moments of community, moments of levity, moments of lightness, right? I really wanted to flip between those 2 points, right? I wanted to, when we weren't focused on the main story, be able to make jokes and insert levity, but then also be able to bear down on a main story that is a little bit horrific at times, right? And bean politics was just a great way to lighten the mood, at this juncture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite discovery in this portion? What was the favorite thing of you guys that you guys received a lot of information about the past and stuff in this place.
Yeah, for me it was like the connection of like the origin of like the Iron Hearts. How like you can really see how like there's a line drawn between the current Iron Hearts and like who probably were like the first people who attuned to power cores and were able to get out there and protect the people from monsters when they first reached the surface. Because when they first reached the surface, it was all corrupted because there was probably no light. The city was like all gone down and shut. So probably when they went out, the brave Ironhearts who like went out there and like cleared the way and like installed lights to start clearing the lands so that we could start reclaiming it. Like I can imagine that. I can picture that, and it's interesting how that eventually becomes the cops.
Yeah, I was really happy that you guys enjoyed that part, and I presented these items that look exactly like the sort of power core housing that people wear on their chest these days, right? But I said, oh, these are slightly different, and they're called core bonders, and they make you bond with the power core faster. That was cute and fun.
Yeah.
Were there any other discoveries that you guys enjoyed in this part? Like any other favorite?
Yes. So with Nyquist, he came from the ruins. And he knew already before he went in, he might be able to discover more past history that could be related to his identity, why Iron Patriots, Iron Hearts, robots like him, machines like him were made, and and it was super exciting for him to find out that he can sing to the power cores, to the conduits.
Well, I mean, it comes close to this part, so yeah, that was interesting. So the way that power cores and like power distribution in this setting works is like a musical metaphor, and we talked a little bit about this before we got to the next portion, although it became more important in the next portion. Thea is correct on that, but so the way that it works is that every conduit has
my cross to bear.
Being correct,
yes.
According to one of our episode polls, allegedly that is true. But so yeah, basically the way that it works is that a conduit itself is like a tone. And when you cast detect magic, you can like hear them ringing with these tones, like a tuning fork. They just have a single pure note that they give off the entire time. And this is sort of like a signal to power cores around them requesting to be powered, right? And power cores, sort of in a semi-intelligent but also sometimes frustratingly unintelligent way, just start powering all the conduits around them that they hear this tone for, right? And as long as they have enough energy, they can basically construct these tones into a rhythm, right? And then multiple power cores, they can produce like harmonic rhythms together so they can harmonize with one another.
I'm getting PTSD from that one evening. Just you, me.
Yeah.
Up until 1 a.m. trying to figure out how the fuck to make the world building lore
trying to figure out how to make power cores work so that the homebrew got just a little bit better. Yeah. And so the idea
4 hours well spent.
was that, when you have a big machine that's running, it's actually like a song, right? Because there's all these little conduits that are each different notes that are fulfilling their function, and they're being composed. They're being composed by the power core and being turned into music.
And they harmonize together.
Yeah, and turned into song. Yeah, and then multiple cores harmonize with one another. So yeah, that was cool. And we learned that Nyquist has
Actually,
an inherent
the first
ability.
time we heard about this, we in Witnesses, was before we even came down here, because we kind of glossed over it. But May got to put her hands inside of Nyquist.
Yeah, actually, when you guys were preparing for this mission, May and Nyquist spent a night together. Suala thinks doing what you think they were doing, but allegedly, according to my players, they were just an engineer and a robot, and the robot is being checked out by the engineer in terms of like circuitry and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like an operation,
Yeah.
Just
an operation
checking him out with her hands inside of him.
Yeah, just getting in there, leaving him a little worse for wear for the next mission.
Needing some kind of like care that comes after.
Yeah, exactly, because he did lose a hit die, so, I don't know.
Spicy.
You have to work on your stamina.
But yeah, no, it was cool to learn, and it was cool because, Nyquist can hear these chords and can sort of play along with the rhythm of music, and I always liked that metaphor. Kirst / Nereid, was there anything? Did you have a favorite discovery from this portion?
Ooh, I don't know. I think just been the first thing really just felt like setup, and I don't know, like sort of everything was a discovery. I don't know.
No, that's fine. That's legitimate. So after 24 hours of harrowing adventuring, the party has acquired their first power cores and sits down to rest. Afterward, they engage the key forger machine to make a key to get into the deeper sections of the ruins. A room that turns out to be the actual Foundry 38, a staggeringly large factory floor where tanks, mechs, and more used to be made. After unsealing this door, which was in the ceiling of Foundry 38, and starting to climb down, the closing doors snap the rope the party was using to climb, splitting them momentarily, and dropping Nyquist quite a distance to the waterlogged bottom of the giant factory floor, a cathedral to ancient power, now empty, yet still ringing with the songs of the ancients. Literally. Nyquist can hear the massive machine song of a gigantic, machine, some kind of collective of technology that still hums and thrums powerfully deep in the earth.
And it sounds like the Harkonnen Arena theme.
It sounds like the Harkonnen Arena theme. We'll link it below in the description if you want to go listen to it.
If you have any interest in this kind of stuff, you already know that song because everybody listens to it.
A short, hectic fight with an eel in the water later. The party looks up to see, standing across from them, at the tip of a tunnel that descends off into darkness, a monster of steel, flesh, and polymer, seemingly made from the corpse of a human, and above it, this insane, techno-quasi-religious ravings of some ancient being called Genesis. The monster flees, but after a brief and noisy looting session, done by the party, it returns with friends, and a massive fight ensues. Tell me about the fight. You guys remember what happened. What happened here? What happened fighting the genocide?
Well, we because we had a little bit of time to prepare, we picked a very strategic position on the opposite side of the tunnel where they were coming from to get a huge distance advantage and to be able to shoot the horde as they came at us.
Yeah,
like a classic zombie.
You kind of banked pretty hard on the idea that they wouldn't have ranged weapons, and they didn't in the end.
And they didn't. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I mean, we saw one of them, and didn't seem to have any.
Well, it was a reasonable assumption. I'm just explaining that was the strategy, right? The strategy was to stand far away and saying, they only have melee weapons, so we'll shoot them from afar.
Yeah, exactly.
We had entirely one long-ranged weapon between us when one is more than zero.
Well, yeah, you had one really long weapon, which was Soala's bow, which, you guys know longbows have insane reach in D&D. And then the rest had guns. At this point, everyone had found at least one gun in the ruins.
Except Soala.
But again, she had the bow.
Yeah, and also, she's more useful with the bow, so she shouldn't have guns, really.
No, I think with the right gun, she should probably use it. This is an ongoing debate for later. But yeah, so you guys stood up. You sat up in your you set up your position. You trained your barrels, and then what came as a growing lead as a glowing red wave of light washed down the tunnel the monster had fled into. What came out to greet you guys?
A nice old lady.
Wow, that's not how I remember it.
Yeah, so we some kind of wizard or some kind of like mage, who, unlike all the drones that we've fought before, seem to be sentient and like intelligent.
Yeah, so I mean, first a huge wave of drones, right, came in. I think in the end, when all was said was done at the end of the fight, I think you guys killed 36 enemies in that fight. They were minions from Flea Mortals. Look up Flea Mortals. Look up minions if you're interested. How you can get so many enemies into a fight with third level characters. But yeah, more of these things, more of these monsters made out of flesh and polymer. You guys fought them and cut them all down, and were congratulated on your progress by that wizard figure who seemed to be standing back in the tunnel there. And all of a sudden, these polymer veins, kind of like liquid plastic veins, grew up out of the ground at the command of this being and started to crush the entire room into a smaller and smaller can of space. And at the same time, a whole bunch of the corpses melted together into one giant monstrosity, the voice of progress, a 7-headed angel with helicopter-like wings and a gigantic glaive.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. I still cannot get over how good of a name the voice of progress is for a monster.
I mean, I must say, it spoke surprisingly little for something called the voice of progress.
I did a 7-headed blood-curdling screech. It's not my fault you guys all made your saves. It was a very good screech.
I initially thought the voice of progress was the name of the wizard guy, which to me made a lot of sense.
No, that guy's just the wizard guy.
That's his official title.
That's his official title.
Wizard guy.
So what was also interesting about these genocide monsters is each of them has at least one power core integrated into their body, and they're all that fact makes them all part of this big harmonic song of the machine. But the other thing that's interesting is in this setting, power cores that are like fully charged are like a light blue with golden flecks, and then they go to light blue, and then they go to like teal, and then green, and then yellow. And then once you start to get to like an orange, their saturation starts to fade more and more. So eventually they're just dull and they're off.
Yeah.
But interestingly, these genocide drones, all of their power cores were a bright ruby luminescent red. So their power cores somehow also seem to define the generally held conventions and rules about how power cores work.
Yeah, and speaking of the color red, something else glowed red during the fight. When May made use for the first time of her like corrupted shadow magic ability that she has in her blood.
Yeah.
All of her attack, which usually kind of glows bright pink, her attack, went fully red as her eyes went white and like the black black veins covered her body.
Yeah.
Mildly disturbing.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You mean metal as hell?
So, after being sort of congratulated for killing all of these drones in the first wave, the party engages in combat and defeats the Voice of Progress. They lose a lot of hit points, but it's overall good. And this was one of the fights I balanced better, I think. It was a challenge, but it wasn't too anxiety provoking.
Yeah.
This battle felt really good.
And after that, you're congratulated again, and you were told by this voice, by this wizard guy, as you have affectionately called him.
Wizard guy.
You were told that you had achieved two sigils of ascension, and were congratulated as aspirants of zeal, and were given some other cryptic information, being basically told to, rise up, do the thing.
You know, when you subscribe to a very annoying newsletter, you can't unsubscribe, and now every once in a while it's like, hello, aspirant of zeal. It's like, no, stop sending me these.
Another thing that he did is he addressed Nyquist as one of their own, said, one of my own who does not sing my song.
Which gave me chills, because
did it?
How am I one of them, you know?
Yeah,
I think that this is the first official canon confirmation that he was speaking about Nyquist.
Yeah,
this is the first official canon on the pod.
We're learning new things. We're learning lore in the fan content.
He said, one of my own who does not sing my song. It might have meant any number of you. But you guys also noticed this superficial visual similarity between Nyquist's build, 7 power cores integrated into the body, and the Voice of Progress, 7 power cores integrated into the body, the Wizard Guy, 7 power cores integrated into the body, and the same pattern in all 3. And you guys also got to see the symbol of Genesis, which has a heptagon in it, a 7-sided polygon. What was your favorite Genocide moment from this part of the campaign?
I mean, I really like the Genocide because I like body horror, I like cyborgs, and I like hive minds.
You like religious ravings?
I do like religious ravings. When I come home from a hard day of work, if I find some good religious ravings, and I just kick it back on the couch. And let the pastor instruct me about what is sin. No, I wanted to say, like, I enjoyed it a lot, but like I think the most effective moment for me for Genesis was the first one, like when we were literally like at the end of a session when you described the creature looking at us.
Yeah,
like the description of the creature was like on point.
Should I read it? I have it.
Yeah.
A corpse stands before you, above you, in a tunnel surrounded by scripture. It stands hunched forward, resting on the long steel pokers that replace its hands and elongate its forelimbs. Its legs have been broken and mended with new steel joints. Stretched, bent backwards, it stands on its toes. It moves like a beast of burden, on all fours. On its back lies a crucible, filled with the scraps and collected bits it's found, held snugly by a marsupial-like pouch of flesh, stretched thin and taut. There isn't a single scrap of skin on its body. Every part of it is made from flayed meat, blood-stained iron, and ivory polymer. White ichors oozes where organic and inorganic meet from its cuts and joints and vacant eye sockets. Perched on a sinuous polymer neck, which has a little strip of flesh running along it, connecting it to the torso, is the slack, skinless face of a person, staring at the floor, jaw open, teeth clicking when the head moves. But on the crown of its skull, a power core lies, bloody red, luminous, staring right at you, seizing you up.
Yeah, this was for me the best Genocide moment.
Oh, it's so good.
And I stand by it.
I've been thinking up these fucked up monsters for such a long time. It was great to finally get to share them with you guys.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed sharing the scripture that Genesis wrote, and like some of the lines I had in there. I loved. You know, let superstition and failure be ground beneath the iron heels of a grateful servant. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. That was great.
Yeah, you did a good job writing the scripture. Yeah, it really felt legit. You know, as in real life, if we had something like that, I would expect the scripture to read like that, exactly like that.
Did any of the others have favorite Genocide moments?
Ooh, I don't know. Like I love everything about them. Hard to point to like a single favorite part.
Yeah, for Nyquist, it's obvious. It's the first time he's ever seen his own kind.
Yeah, I liked making that connection slowly over time, being like, oh, these also have power cores in them. Oh, it's also 7.
Yeah.
Oh, they're also made of polymer and steel. It was funny at one point. I loved it. The first moment one of you put it together, one of you was like, wait, they're kind of similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, now that you say it and you look at them, yeah, there are certain superficial similarities. And you guys are like, ah.
What a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
How did this, if at all, change your perspective on the society of the past, on the great age of the past, as it is so often called?
I do call it that all the time.
All the time.
Of course. I think
When
like
you're
that.
in the shower singing, you're like the great age of the past.
Yeah. There's a song, you know. It's like you don't have to learn it. It's just at the back of your head.
Yeah. I mean, the machine song just always playing in the background. I love that little detail. As like a sensory moment to always pull up.
Because because recently,
Sorry, Copernicus.
I'm not sure if this is true information, but people say the children's ballad this this is like a universal children's made-up song. Like you don't learn
you
it.
mean like
Ring around the rosy.
Yeah.
Ring
So,
around the
you know,
rosy.
So yeah, when Kirst, when Nyquist, when all of them are in the shower, eating, sleeping, there's like a propaganda.
There's just the machine song playing.
Yeah, the machine song at the back of their
the
head.
machine song playing sounds awesome when you're like dungeon delving and fighting the monsters, but like I don't know, when May's taking a shit, it's probably less glorious.
Well, I mean, obviously you don't hear it anymore.
Well, not anymore, but I did hear it for a while. I'm sure, assume at least one time May went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And the machine song was just blasting.
Well, I imagine it, right, as like, as of, you use it the way you would in a movie, right? When there's a moment of dread or unease, it bubbles up again, and you hear it again, and then you ignore it for a while.
Diegetic soundtrack.
And then when there's a moment, then it comes back. Yeah, I really enjoyed showing you guys fucked up elements of the past.
Yeah, but you asked us, so how does it influence our... Yeah, I mean, okay, so, to be honest, I never really, like, as the player, I never really bought into that.
Mm-hmm. The idea
because
that the
I know
past
you.
was great?
Because I know you.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's see what the fuck the past was about, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I did not imagine this, of course.
Mm.
I think it's very, very, very interesting, and it's interesting how it seems like it's interesting to glean small tidbits of how the world was before from like the holy, the scripture that you wrote. But I don't know, for me personally, if it changed so much the assumptions I had made about the past. Like, I don't know, it didn't blow my mind. It didn't blow my mind.
Didn't take you by surprise.
No. And another thing that is interesting is that, like, while I did not, like, I was surprised as everybody else that Nyquist has shared some similarity with the genocide. I don't know why, but, like, it didn't, like, shock me or, like, drive me crazy. I was like, that is interesting.
Very even-keeled.
What?
Like, very even-keeled reactions to all of this.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's your lived experience, right? And that's valuable. That's how it was. Yeah, there was I've lost it, but there was a moment of something. Oh yeah, do you want to expand at all? Do you want to talk at all a little bit about Genesis and Zeal? Because we never really talked about this whole concept of Zeal, which you read a whole bunch about in the first half of the dungeon, and then was sort of brought back for the second half of the dungeon.
Yes. I mean, me as in me, or me as in the others? Because I just said it. Somebody else wants to interject.
Well, hey, anybody can talk about it. It's a round table.
You go ahead.
Okay. So Genesis, there is, like, we find a scripture by this Genesis who seems to invoke, like, call upon two other elements of, like, a trinity that seems to be the people who were in charge before, even though we found out later that they're not just people. Zeal is something else. But yeah, and this Genesis is, like, absolutely singing, like, singing praise to progress in a complete, like, religiously fanatical way. And It's not exactly like all flesh will be machine. He's actually like kind of like finding the ideal balance between the two. That's a big part of like the philosophy. That's the part that May was kind of on board with. Like he opens the first two verses are like pretty chill.
Yeah, it's also interesting because Genesis isn't like saying like I will dominate you, humanity. Genesis is instead writing a lot of like use me as your worthy tool, right? So sort of putting itself in a subservient position to some degree in some of what it's writing.
Yeah, and also it's very much about elevating everybody else.
Yeah,
like, Genesis seems to be genuinely like have some kind of crazy ideology of like progress for progress's sake, and that like everybody should like. But to be fair,
like I raised you from the filth into the sky. I raised the very foundations of existence and gave you paradise in your design.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe just Genesis was like an archmage who got the cities in the skies in the first place or something. But like clearly someone who's really down with the tech, really down with the idea of progress, and seems to have gotten crazy.
Yeah, so zeal was this other element that you guys just heard invoked a lot, like zeal, damn it, and zeal pact, and
an aspirant of zeal, and then eventually figured out that zeal, like it seemed like it was an ideal, and then eventually figured out that a zeal was like a physical magic item that seemed, but like considering about zeal pact, clearly this magic item was either powering the city or was a symbol to the city, was super important ideologically, symbolically, and people constructed a whole ideology around it at the very least. Whether like then the zeal packs are like packs done in the name of zeal or like based on the ideology of zeal, or the zeal is literally like a physical mechanical thing that grants the pact some validity, you know?
Yeah,
that's a different discussion that we don't know, but like
and you learned zeal was referred to as an injunction.
Yeah,
and you guys aren't sure what an injunction is, but it seems somehow a special something.
Yeah,
special term.
Yeah, an injunction is like a nexus, right? It's like where it's like like where two things, something that holds two elements together.
Oh no, an injunction is
or like a bending.
No, an injunction is like a legal term. It's like a law or a decree.
Oh, okay.
It's like something that intervenes and says, "This is how it is."
Oh, then maybe.
At least I think that's what it is. Here, let me quickly look up injunction.
Then term. Maybe it was the thing setting the rules of magic.
Injunction. A judicial or restraining order, a person from beginning or continuing an action, threatening or invading the legal right of another, or compelling a person to carry out a certain act, i.e. to make a restitution to an injured party. In law, that's what it means. And as a noun, it just means an authoritative warning or order.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was cool. I really enjoyed writing that scripture. You really get to go just full ham, full fever dream, full villain mode. Just be like, rah! Progress. I love it so much. Flash, sutures, steel, destruction. Yeah. At this point, this is a slightly different question. At this point, you guys had collected a bunch of loot. Do you guys want to talk about any of it? Did you guys have any favorite magic items? Any favorite stuff that you guys found down in the dungeon? Because while we've talked a lot about the narrative and violence and the horror and all of that, it was actually also an extremely lucrative trip underneath the earth. You guys all got fully decked out with power cores and magic items.
We got so much good stuff. Yeah. Honestly, it's too much to name. I do absolutely love the mommy gun.
Which is known as the many-armed bandit.
Yeah. Also known as the many-armed bandit. It's a gun that Kirst has been using. Every round you grow an extra arm that also has a similar gun in it, and you shoot all the guns, and it's chaos. You have a lot of arms. You end up rolling a lot lot of dice. What is there not to love about it?
The gun.
Kirst, the woman of many arms already. Yeah, no, it's cool. It prints like it 3D prints a new version of itself and a new arm to hold it every 6 seconds.
As long as you keep firing and hitting.
Yeah, and you just get to keep spray and pray, firing as much as you want. Yeah, I came up with so many magic items. I think I think in total there were 26 magic items in this dungeon, which was 4 big rooms, but still it was 4 rooms overall. It's fun. The new power core system, you can make a lot of magic items with it. I had a lot of fun whipping up stuff. Did you, Thea? Did you have a favorite magic item?
Thea, you?
Yes. No, you can go if you have something.
Yeah, I was about to say, since Mommy Gun is perfect for Kjerst, because Kjerst has many arms already, for Ninquist, he got Eye of the Street. Now he just detects magic
You got a
all
set
the
of
time.
goggles. The Eyes of the Street, they give you advantage on perception, and they let you see through something else's eyes.
Indeed. While there are also the flying boots, which are pretty
cool.
practical. And I think in the beginning they were also worn by Kjerst. And since she's an
everybody
ant,
got a pair. You found 4 pairs, I think, in total.
right?
Yeah, the maglev
everyone
boots
got a
are
pair.
so good.
Yeah, they were very convenient. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of like they're these magnetic boots where you can strap yourself to a wall, but you can also burn a charge, which is a limited resource that power cores have, and you can use it to fly for 1 turn. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I had those were really, really cool and very useful. I think that like I didn't have the chance to use it yet, but I really liked the exoskeleton that Ninquist wore.
Oh yeah, I haven't got to use it either. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a worker's exoskeleton.
Yeah.
You did use it, right?
I haven't used it yet. I have it.
Battle?
Yeah, no. Ninquist, you did. You had it during the final fight.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
It must have been
May inherited
too overwhelming.
No, May traded it. May got it from Ninquist. I'm very much looking forward to use it.
Yeah.
And I like it because it's very clearly inspired by an Artificer infusion, and it works very well with like the build that May is going for.
I mean,
it's basically an arcane propulsion armor.
To be fair, it's just gauntlets of ogre power, but written as a mech suit.
Yeah, I know, but it has also the thing where you can use the charge to like not fall prone or stuff like that.
Yeah, that part is more inspired by the armor of strength.
Yeah, and then it suits May because May is going to get a mech suit very soon.
Yeah, she's going to go into her artificer armor phase, and bulk up for next adventure.
Yeah, who needs? Yeah, that way she won't need anyone anymore because she'll be protected and safe.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
All right, well, that about rounds us to the finishing lap. Victorious and yet filled with more questions than ever, the party returned to the surface to meet their shadowy patron, who turned out to be Eliadus, a suspicious member of a secretive organization. After some negotiation, the party managed to trade their discoveries at a premium and settled into a downtime spent meeting up with the factions of the city and discovering some of the city's mysteries. What happened here? Well, what happened during downtime? Do we want to talk about the menagerie? Do we want to talk about any of the other stuff you guys did?
Sure, I think the menagerie is a great story to start with.
All right.
Yeah. The menagerie was so good. I don't know. Should I try and tell it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, tell us about it.
So this is a plot thread that kind of got started already in the first session. When Kjerst saw like a mural that had like a sort of a hidden message in it, and we've kind of just been following the little breadcrumb trail throughout wherever it leads. And so at some point we were instructed.
What was the hidden message in the mural in session 1?
It was.
Who's on the city council?
Who's on the city council? Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was something about the rent, no?
Oh, you're right. Actually.
Where does the rent go?
Fucking poser, DM.
That was it.
It was
fake fan.
Sorry, it was the third one. It was the third mural. You found one mural that was where does the rent go? You found another mural that was why do the houses always win? Which the houses are the departments of the city government, and then lastly, who sits on the city council? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyways.
Yeah. So that is kind of where the thread got started. And yeah, so at some point I think we talked to the tavern owner, Tarbo. No, not
No, it
Tarbo.
was
It was in
I think
the
it was
next to the scene.
something like I forget this guy's name always because it's another T name.
Toril.
Yeah,
Toril.
Yeah.
From the Oracle, Oracle of Ale.
The Oracle of
Yes,
Ale, which
the
is of course
Oracle
a
of Ale.
hilarious Aruthian joke about the fact that there's oracles, right? And there would never be an Oracle of Ale.
Yeah, so Toril had a hint, and this kind of sent us to like a particular part of the city where we got reverse pickpocketed. Like a little note was given to us without our noticing, and it instructed us to learn sort of like it was from an organization called the Query. We learned, and it told us like, oh yes, teach us like bring some information of your own if you wish to join. And then return
the Caesarean cipher that you guys cracked in record time.
Oh,
I was very
yes.
proud of you. You guys did a really great job. It took you like no time at all. It's really cool.
Yeah, and then we decided to go figure out who is actually on the city council. So this was
kind of easy, quick, and efficient thanks to our great bureaucracy.
Not quite.
It's very easy. You just go to City Hall and you look in the public records and you go there. Except that there were all these more and more hilarious bureaucratic hurdles being thrown in front of us. A lot of them had to do with the menagerie, and I think this dates back to like a very early role building session where we were describing what is happening in this particular part of town, and we knew that City Hall was there, like. And then Copernicus decided that in City Hall there was going to be a menagerie.
A greenhouse, a greenhouse
full
of plants and animals.
In the technology city.
Yeah, and I was like, how do I make this work? And I was like, well, what if you go to the menagerie, you're not allowed to do any other part of city administration? Like, you're not allowed to get any other information in the city.
Yeah, it cancels all your appointments, sort of whatever certifications you had running are all canceled.
Yeah. And so, like, what if the city administrators are just desperately trying to keep you from information by getting you to go to the menagerie?
Yeah. So at first it was just like, oh yeah, would you sort of thank you for making your appointment? Would you want to go to the menagerie while you wait? And it got more and more sneaky, where like whenever a document had to be signed, there was like a hidden clause, like, oh yes, and you will visit the menagerie. And at some point, the lady said like, people who want to visit the menagerie say what?
Yeah, exactly. that was the lowest point. That's when I was like, that's when she was like desperate to get you. Yeah, you had to go to a training course, which was of course scheduled at like 4 a.m, and if you didn't show up a half hour early, you missed your opportunity to go in, and then the library wasn't available until like the middle of the night on a different week.
Yeah, and you had to be like ready to like come pick up something on like within like a 5-second interval after like 3 hours of waiting. Kirst got really into this. She was like, whenever she had to have an appointment, she was like, okay, so it gotta, how is it like, so for a domestic appointment, you gotta be 2 hours in advance. For an international appointment, it's 3 hours in advance. But I think like the rest of the party kind of thought that Kirst might have been wasting her time with this, but in the end, she managed. She went into the city records, and she learned that actually the city council elections have been fake, have been falsified for the past 5 decades.
Which is just like how it is in the real world.
But yeah, there was lots of sneaky stuff, like sign these 2 forms, and then the first form is like, I want to go to the menagerie, and the second form is I want to go to the library or whatever.
Yeah, it was so good.
So that brings us solidly to the point in the campaign we're in downtime. Did you guys have any favorite downtime moments that you wanted to talk about? Maybe some character moments on your own, decompressing. We got to see the sort of more relaxing side of life.
Oh, for Ninquist? Okay, yeah, he didn't really do well. He did relax a little. He went to his historian friend. They had tea. It's
He had
the
his birthday. We
oh
celebrated his
yeah,
birthday.
exactly. Oh
Yes.
yeah. Okay, I was about to say, he kind of joined the revolution in his downtime.
He
With
joined a paramilitary militia
it's
of
like
vigilantes to do their own justice on the street, and this will not turn into
I would
anything
call it
bad ever.
volunteering.
Oh yeah, great! You
It's
already
like
bought
you
in.
So we
volunteer as
found
a
actually
firefighter.
we found a regretful Aiden Co. Running Nyquist's formerly corrupt cop buddy, running a meeting of Dawnsteel, which seems to be one of the factions of the city that seems to be more on the revolutionary side. You guys got to meet the Query, you got to meet Dawnsteel, you got
Mhm.
to meet the Cantemeron, who is a religious group, which is very unusual.
Yeah, I wanted to say
Aramis.
that was my favorite thing.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, essentially, May has interest in figuring out and understanding the corruption because the corruption is a big part of her. It defines everything about her essentially, like her trauma, her abilities, her physical condition, and especially she remembers still that apotheosis that we mentioned earlier about like her that kind of like this religious
in her memory, in her backstory.
in her memory, something.
Yeah.
There was something, and she wants to. Well, she would like to cure herself, but also she would like to safely be able to augment perhaps the corruption within her, as to reach that state again in a safe way,
and also help other people,
and also help other people along the way. Yeah. Absolutely. And so she was starting to look around, like where can she get information?
Yeah.
Who knows about corruption? People who know about corruption are the Cantemeron, essentially a religious, also kind of paramilitary organization, but not paramilitary as in like pseudo police, but more like civil guard, who protect a district of Aramis that lies outside of, it's like a separate piece of Aramis.
No, it's Vorthunum, right?
Of Vorthunum, sorry. Of Vorthunum.
Aramis is the country. Yeah,
sorry, I mixed it up.
There's a district called Lightshore in which they're very present. They're not nearly as militant as like Dawnsteel. They're more like spiritual, right? They sort of advise and guide people. They're all about personal growth and potential and stuff like that. You had a really interesting conversation with Adva. Adva from Nyquist's memory also came back. She's living a very different life now as a prosthetic smith working for the Cantemeron.
Yeah, working for the Cantemeron. And essentially Adva inquired about why May was so interested in talking to Cantemeron and why she's so interested in corruption. And eventually it was revealed that a tattoo that May has around her wrist, which is a tattoo of an Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail, coiled around itself and around May's wrist, literally, is actually an old religious symbol. Yeah. Even though May has no knowledge of this.
Has not a religious bone in her body.
Has not a religious bone in her body, and it literally picked it at random because it looked cool.
Yeah.
And she also implied that there might be something religious going on with May about her powers. glowing hand, specifically the fact that her ability to evoke light out of her hand on command, as a reaction to the corruption thing going on. And May was skeptical, but unmoored. Definitely unmoored by this conversation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had a lot of fun. I don't know what the fuck is going on or what May's this whole religious deal is.
Yeah.
I am curious to see if it's true or if it's just bullshit, because it might just be like this lady might just have it wrong, But I mean, usually in stories that's not the case. But this lady might just be wrong.
It's true. It's definitely unresolved as of now.
It's unresolved. It's actually one of the last things that happened, but it was definitely like one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, I mean, besides the Cantemeron, I feel like were really fun to introduce, and it was really great for me in a way that you went to seek them out, because there's like sort of 5 main underground factions in the city that are all vying for power, right? Because I'm sorry, I'm not even sure if we covered this earlier. At the end of the whole menagerie bullshit, right? Kirst got to actually look at the records and see who's on the city council. And it turns out it's a total fake. It's a total sham. Elections have been manipulated and rigged. The candidates do not sound like real people at all in any way.
Yeah, the further you go, the more ridiculous their names sound.
And it goes back almost 50 years. It's like as of 50 years ago, you start having names and election results that look plausible, right? Which means I don't even know how much further than that you need to go to find a corruption-free zone.
It's implausible, you mean?
Yeah. No. Like 50 years ago, the first plausible people.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, you don't even know how far you need to go back to find, like, the part where the whole field looks plausible, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, nobody sits on the city council. The city council, at least not publicly. The public-facing city council is a sham, and whatever powers that rule Vorthunum do so from the shadows. Mm-hmm. And so these 5 underground factions all sort of rebel against that shadowy, absence of power. They all rebel against this order, this oppressive, free market, intransparent order, in their own different ways. And you searching out the Cantemeron was a great opportunity to just be able to introduce you to one more of them organically. So yeah, you guys have met with 4 so far. Eliadus was organization, the Query, Dawnsteel, and the Cantemeron. So we'll see where the rest of this is going. Speaking of Eliadus, how did you guys feel about the job once it was all over? Are you nervous about it all? About Eliadus's research and all the genocide technology, the dead bodies that you gave him to study and do stuff with?
I mean, obviously the whole, Eliadus talks about, progress and how into it he is. And, May is very much, skeptical
it is alerting
about him and his, ideas.
He's big on research and growth.
He's big on researching and growth, and he talks about progress in this idealized way that is very reminiscent of the genocide idea of progress, right? So there's something clearly going on there where I feel like, if we just let it be, this thing will turn into Eliadus becoming a genocide, or Eliadus trying to co-opt the genocide and getting co-opted back or something like this. So I can see it as a plot narrative.
So naturally you gave him 10 genocide power cores.
Oh, yeah, I want him to. That's what the story is. That's what the story is. Yeah, but May is let's keep an eye on the guy because she is skeptical of him, but she is also interested in what he can provide for him, and I'm interested in what he can provide for us. So I think this is good. He's good villain material, but I also think he's interesting story material. So I'm not going to get all up in his business for now. I'll just let him do.
Yeah,
until we find a guy with a lattice arm that glows and that glows red and has a power core in his forehead, and it's no, I'm fine. I'm fine, guys. This is normal, Until we see that, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Basically, Thea's answer to this question is nervous. I'm excited. I'm excited about Eliadus's research. This is going to be awesome.
This will create a great story.
Just because he's evil doesn't mean I don't like him.
I'm excited about Thanos.
Just because he's evil doesn't mean we don't have to like him.
Exactly.
There are characters you love and characters you love to hate.
What about you, Copernicus? Did you have any feelings about Eliadus and all of that, and just how the job wrapped up, how everything ended up going?
Well, as Copernicus, I was surprised how much of a bargain we made with him.
Yeah, you guys got a lot out of that information.
Got everything, all our scraps, and we got our coin. So yeah. But then, as Nyquist, I am also very alerted that Ladies is into this revolution, and he got his hands on the Genesis. He's doing research on them. We are actually attending those sessions whenever they open up the bodies. So I would say from Nyquist's point of view,
you guys got to see firsthand.
Yeah. He's definitely interested in the research part, but he is concerned about what this guy is up to. Yeah. And I believe we should always, we should always just approach him carefully, approach the tasks we are given by him carefully, and Nyquist would rather go work with his former cop buddy in this vigilante team instead.
Yeah.
He feels safer. He feels safer over there because a lady is already in a powerful position. It's quite sketchy.
I'm excited to see where all of that goes, where your guys' allegiances lie, what jobs you guys end up taking.
Yeah.
One thing that we did in this campaign that I think was really good and is unusual from other campaigns, so I want to highlight it, is we start every session with a little bit of collaborative world building where I give you guys a prompt and you guys come up with ideas for the prompt, and then I integrate it into the setting, either immediately or over time. It's a lot of fun because kind of everyone gets to be a little bit of the DM, and we kind of get to blur the line between DM and player. And there's a moment of every single session where there's no stakes, where you guys just get to build and get your creative juices flowing. With that in mind, while you guys were down in the dungeon, we spent most of the start of our sessions always world building different districts of Vorthunum. So I want to ask you guys,
I think we lost.
were there any favorite districts? Like, which of the districts do you guys feel like turned out the best? Which did you most enjoy making?
Train spotting district.
Yeah, the
train
splitters.
spotting
Yeah, the
district.
splitters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to say, for me personally, I really liked. So the splinters is like the part of town where the trains arrive from out in the desert. You know, Aramis has these arcane trains that are scavenged from long ago. So every train is very different from all the others. And Aramis has this unique thing where they set like 3 train tracks together in sort of this guarded position, so that they can kind of like travel together, and like one of them in the middle can have a turret, and the ones on the outside can sort of shield the middle one where all the expensive stuff is. And the splinters is where these trains sort of arrive, and it's a pretty rough neighborhood because it's outside the main city wall, so it's not as defended. And trains run through the middle of the neighborhood, which is pretty disruptive and pretty loud. But if you like train spotting, it's pretty cool. I liked personally. I really liked Trade Hand, which is right on the other side of the wall. It's the market district. I really liked the ideas that we came up with, like that there's like these old train cars that run from one end of the market district to the other, transporting people around, or that there's these bidding houses with these automatic clocks that sort of put pressure on the bidders to bid quickly before the clock runs out, and all the different, like the way we made it like a 3D multi-layered kind of place where it's like, oh, well, out if you're on top, there's these canvas covered shops and these train cars running beneath these canvas like tents and stuff like that, like these big canvases spread over the streets, and then below them, you know, trains running around. And then if you go one layer under that, it's the bidding halls with the clocks and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it, and I felt like it turned out great.
Yeah.
What about you, Thea?
Well, there is one that I really okay. I was going to say Trade Hand as well.
Oh, okay.
But my second one is going to feel a little bit self-congratulatory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, yeah.
because it's a part of the city that like I feel like I have a big hand in, a little bit because of our conversations outside of the game.
Yeah.
But it's the hipster area.
Yeah.
It's the what's the name of the district?
Calathane.
Yeah, Calathane, where all the like fancy craft like arts and crafts are, where there is like not like heavy industry, but there is like the fancy industry, the fancy artisanal shops where high art is made, as in contrast with the lowly art of Lightshore, and where people have their heads so up their ass that like glamorize scavenger culture.
Yeah, there's like gentrified.
Yeah, gentrified. Exactly. Like it's literally like the gentrified.
Like they wear overalls that have never been dirty once in their lives.
Yeah, exactly. They're like they wear gas masks and like wear guns around the battle and like cosplay scavengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Calathane is one of the places you love to hate.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah. And like I don't know, like when the ideas that inspire, like a lot of the ideas that I put in Calathane are like, I don't know, it feels true to me that like this thing would eventually emerge. You know, this is like not immediately, but like 100, 200 years into the society existing, you would start getting this cultural trend.
Yeah. No, I thought it was really great. So that about covers the first chapter of the campaign. That about covers Genesis, chapter 1. You guys went down, you got the goods, You saw some horrible stuff about the past. You came back. You traded a lot of your horrible stuff to a shady guy. You made a lot of money, and now you're headed into downtime to figure out that this city is almost at its boiling point. So rounding the course one last time. Do you guys have any final thoughts? I have a few questions as prompts here, but we don't have to answer all of them. Just like any favorite moments, favorite NPCs, favorite things you learned about one another. You got to know each other's characters. That was fun. Any crackpot theories that you want to throw out there?
I want to give you a shout out for making a good DNPC. Have a lot of good times with Swala.
Yeah.
And I think she's a well-crafted DNPC. Like, she does what she needs to do in the game well. And she's, like, very lovable. And, like, I always make sure to jab at her to increase her, to increase her level of likability and, the pity.
I see. Yeah.
But yeah, I also really like the other two characters. I think that Ninequest is absolutely inspired for this setting.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Like, this living relic of the past and all that. He fits like you say, my character fits well. I think his character fits super well.
Yeah.
And I think the whole thing going on with Yaruthi is super interesting. And of course, I love bugs. So my heart sings every time that I'm reminded that Cursed is indeed an ant woman, and that she doesn't need to have a million sisters all birthed by the same mother. No notes.
Yeah.
So I really like the team.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
So I want to appreciate the collaborative world building, because I think we always have a lot of fun from that, and it's always super fun to, like today, to recall how we designed all of the places all together, and that's really special. And I really think everybody put so much creative thoughts in their character building with the DM, of course, with the series. And
that was really great about this campaign. Was like, I sat down with each of you and we spent a lot of time detailedly working out characters before we started playing, so that I could bring your characters' cultures and lived experiences and identities into the game. And I thought that was really cool. Like, one of my favorite things to do is to have a story with protagonists who only fit this story as perfectly as they do. You know what I mean? That, like, it feels like this world and this story were designed around them. And because you guys let me start setting up this campaign way early in advance, I got to do exactly that. And I really appreciated that. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I really appreciated that you sat down with us to design the characters, the backstories with us, because I had a lot of fun with that. And I think for Ninequest, we started the earlier than May even. And
we were years ahead.
Yeah.
We did it so much earlier
than we had.
It was
so in advance, yeah. And I think it really took time to morph the character into how he is today. And that was a lot of fun, because every time we chat, it's like we've been composing some, for me, it was kind of science fiction. When we chatted about the character, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, this setting is very like science fantasy. Like, there's science fiction in it. There's fantasy in it. It melts both.
I'm not sure that Ninequest predates May in terms of creative existence.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's not get into that.
And I really appreciate how all our characters are super different from each other. Because we've got Kirst, who is a bug lady, and we've got May, who is a girl with robot limbs. Well, sorry,
limbs.
Yeah, robot limbs. And we've got Ninequest, who's like a robot but with a human brain. So they're all like super unique.
Yeah, and also personality-wise, it's like Kirst is probably too kind for her own good. Not well-adjusted, but sort of like not well-adjusted to the city that she's in, I feel.
Guys,
but like definitely living.
It's not the cheese grater.
It's not the cheese grater.
Then there is like Ninequest, who is very sweet but also very naive.
Yes.
And then there's May, who is, I mean, kind of an ass, but also I love her.
Yeah, she's kind of an ass, especially to Svala. Yes.
Yeah, you guys make a well-rounded team personality-wise. In terms of like D&D ability scores, you guys are missing charisma a lot, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think that naturally also just happens with a 3-person party. It's hard to get it all perfectly balanced. Like, I don't know. I guess you would need like a cleric, a wizard, and a paladin, and then you'd be good. But then you couldn't sneak. So with 3, there's always something.
Yeah.
One thing that I found, like for myself, was interesting as my experience is that I'm used to play the weirdo of the party. I'm used to play the sentient book who controls a puppet,
Yeah.
or the bag of slime with a sentient orb at its core. You know, that's my character usually. So it's funny to be like the most like grounded and normal member of the party.
Yeah.
What do you mean normal?
That is, I think that is speciesist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
May is the only person you could meet in real life.
By fantasy, by the standards of reality, I am the most grounded and normal person.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Maybe in 1,000 years, Ninquist will be equally plausible person to meet on planet Earth. And maybe in 2,000 years, Cursed will do.
Yeah.
But today...
today is today.
Today is today, and yeah.
I personally am betting on it that like tomorrow there's nuclear war, all humans die, and in 1,000 years from now there will only be bug ladies, and like your little human character will be so unrealistic.
I think that's realistic.
Scholars will say that the gods once brought this world to ruin.
And I think ants do have good chances of survival. If there's a nuclear war.
Their lifespans are so fast, they would evolve the fastest, wouldn't they? But yeah.
Well, you need to you need to count the life cycle of the queen. That's the only one that matters for transmissible mutations. Everything that is somatic doesn't count.
Well,
personally, the thing that I've been really happy about in the campaign is like just the combination of like very serious stuff and like very lore heavy stuff, but then also like just there's been a lot of levity, but like in a way that like it doesn't feel like it distracts from anything. It's just it's just fun. It's all adorable stuff. I am very curious what is going to happen with bird politics, but that might be something for the next recap.
I had to take a sidebar with Thea and be like, help me figure out bird politics. Like, what should I do here? And I think we came up with something good. So tune in for the next recap to learn about bird politics. I have a few questions left on my sheet, but honestly, I feel like we covered it. Do you guys have any other closing words? Otherwise, I'm ready to go to plugs.
Nothing for me.
I think we kind of summarized.
We did it. I've really enjoyed this campaign playing with you guys, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any plugs?
Ooh, I have many.
All right. Hit us, Copernicus.
Oh, yeah. So, I would like to recommend a pocket-sized Monopoly game called Monopoly Deal. You can play it rapidly. It's about 15 to 20 minutes per round. You can play it with 2 people or more. And it's a lot of fun with a lot of strategies involved, but also depending a lot on luck. But yeah, I would recommend it. And
is it like the rules of Monopoly?
Not at all.
Not at all. It's a pretty different game.
Thing, right?
It's the aesthetic of Monopoly
exactly.
put on a card game, on a high variance card game.
It's awesome. Like you've got a set of poker.
That's interesting. That sounds kind of cool. Well, it's just it's a card game. You can just play it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
It's a card game. Yeah.
Do you have any other plugs?
Well, I can recommend another game. It's called Pass the Pig. It's a game I've been playing since several years ago. And with some colleagues / friends. It's a game where you need to throw tiny figurines of pigs. You have 2. And depending on how they land, you're going to get different scores. And you basically just throw it, and then you calculate the scores. You can play it very fast with a few friends. Yeah, with as many friends as you like.
And was there a third and final plug you had?
Okay, yeah, but I forgot the exact commercial name of the third plug.
Because I just remember you telling me you wanted to plug floss this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, I got into flossing pretty recently.
And not the dance, not the online dance called flossing. To be clear,
it's probably better if it's for your teeth. At least you get some health benefit from it.
It's a dental practice that's very common across cultures.
All right, thank you.
We do love dental hygiene here. Yes,
we do. Let it not be said, A Friendly Orbit is a pro dental hygiene podcast. I have a plug. It's kind of a weird plug, but I think genuinely, in order to make your D&D games better and general TTRPG games better, you should do episodes like this with your friends. And they don't have to be an episode, and you don't actually have to upload them to a podcast. But
you don't have to create a podcast for your D&D.
Yeah, but taking time to talk and ask these kinds of questions of your players outside of the game really helps you distinguish what the characters are interested in, what the players are interested in, and lets the players speak in a way where they're more free than during the game. And I mean, we already recommended this idea that you do like 15-minute one-on-one check-ins, but I think it's also great like this whenever there's like an adventure that's over to get everybody's retrospective opinion on the past and sort of set the record straight. What happened? What did they like the most? What were they most interested in? What worked? What didn't work for them? What are they most excited about in the future? I highly recommend it. So talk to your friends about the game outside the game. Any other plugs? Thea? Nereid?
I have a plug.
Yes.
It is a YouTube channel. It is called USCSB. This is the United States Chemical Safety Board. They are like a semi-government organization, and they make instructional videos about chemical safety.
Wow.
And if this sounds exciting, I mean, we should be friends. If this doesn't sound exciting, you should check it out anyway, because this is honestly one of the best things that is on youtube.com.
Wow. Oh my god, that is
high praise.
Wow, it is.
We're getting, to be fair, like we were not recording, but today we heard a lot of strange opinions of Nereid about what makes for good YouTube content. So.
No, but I think this sounds great. I love it.
All right. Thea, you got anything for us?
I don't know if I can top the last one.
All right. And with that, I will say that just about does it for our 39th episode. If you want more, you can find us on youtube.com/atafriendlyorbit, as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Are we almost 40?
Almost at 40, yeah.
Oh my god.
And if you happen to have any astral echoes you want to share with us, you can email us at afriendlyorbit@gmail.com. All one word.
All right, Ceres, Copernicus, Nereid, I'll catch you out there. And to all of our fellow Voyagers, we'll catch you out there amongst the stars.